Hello there, my name is Hamilton. Today I turned 30, so I took the day off of work in order to clean my shop, and I figured I might as well videotape it so that I actually follow through with all that. Behind me is my shop. It is 48 by 36, which is bigger than my old house was, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to take y'all through. We're going to go through each section about kind of what I envision for that space, as well as how it's gotten so dirty, and just kind of workflow when it concerns the shop overall. So this space is directly to the left once you enter into the shop. This is what I want to keep as my lumber storage area, or the lumber that I'm using for the next few projects. I wanted it so that I could back my truck up, immediately offload stuff, and just kind of keep it all over here. I've got a lumber cart, which I keep a lot of the wood that I'm using, bring around to different tools, as well as this cart over here where I keep a bunch of scraps. Eventually that cart will be gone, but whatever. So I've got two of these wall racks mounted up. One of them is just a Home Depot generic thing. The other one is made by Grizzly. It's actually cheaper than the Boro wall mounted clamps, so go on Grizzly, it'll save you a few dollars. Those are awesome. I like those a whole lot. They're very strong. I've had hundreds of board feet mounted on it and never once did I think it was going to fall down. The Home Depot ones are a little bit more meh. The steel they use for it, it's been a whole lot, and I really don't think long term it's going to be the right solution. So over here, I've just got a bunch of random wood. It's poplar, ash, walnut, just a bunch of random flooring, stuff like that. I have wood currently at two other places right now. This is my third shop. So the first shop that I had was like a little shed in the woods, and then later I moved into my grandfather's barn, and that was awesome. It had pretty low ceilings. I might have some clips of it that I can overlay right here, but who knows. And then now we just bought this house a few months ago, and this is my current shop. So searching for a house with a big enough shop where I can kind of be in here and do my hobby slash small business in here has been very difficult. But once we found it, I knew, boom, this is the place to be. And thankfully, the house is also what we wanted too. So right here today, I'm just going to resort the wood, get the space all nice and clean. Now, directly next to it, this is where I originally envisioned to put a bunch of my painting supplies. The booth is currently right here, and this thing, this cabinet, came from Home Depot. They were originally like $1,200 bucks, but no one bought it because they marketed it as a outdoor kitchen surface. It's so tall, I don't think anybody could ever use it, so I got it for like $300 bucks, and it has been awesome. It's got some very large storage. It's got these drawers right here that I can actually use for spray paint storage. It's awesome. Even a dedicated place for a mini fridge. So this area I want to be sheet goods storage and just kind of clean out everything right here. The guy, when he sold me the place, he left all of these garbage cans, which I've done nothing with, and I'm planning on utilizing those a lot better. I went to Lowe's this morning and got a bunch of garbage bags because things are just not clean around here. So I'd like to be able to get into a system where I can just have garbage cans everywhere, throw all my scraps in them, take them out on a weekly basis. But I know myself it'll probably be a monthly basis. But this area is also not looking too great. Here is my spray booth. So this is a big deal. I have never had anywhere that was dedicated to finishing products, and I'm so happy about it. It actually has air running here. It's already got water running here. I've got this little area that I'm going to build up into a nice sink system, and then I've got two cabinets over here that are, one of them is fireproof, where I can keep all of my products that actually put off some kind of a fume, and this is great. I'm just super excited about it. He used to paint cars and stuff in here, so right here there is a very large hole in the ground, and it's got a pipe that goes out the other side of the barn, and he would put a fan down there and he would suck everything down and then out, which is not really great for me. So eventually I'll fill in that hole with concrete, and then I'll cut a hole in the wall and put a fan so that I can just blow it out the side, because right now I don't have any kind of door right here, and I'm just kind of throwing fumes out into the shop, which puts a little bit of overspray everything. Still much better than what I used to be doing, because there's no dust that falls in here, and that's pretty big. Right next to where my booth is, I have my bandsaw. It's nothing special, it gets the job done. I've had this thing for like 4 years now, and it's been through a whole lot, but I'm going to be keeping it here, hopefully in this little station. Directly behind me is the main assembly table. I wouldn't dare call this a workbench, but it has, it's been in another shop and then it made its way over here. So I'm very glad to have this thing, and it's normally just kind of cluttered and covered in a bunch of stuff. So I made sure that my most used tools were right when you come into the shop. So you can go over, you can grab your material, you can put them on a cart, bring them right here. You can cut down stuff, you can plane stuff, and then right here in this box I have a joiner. So that joiner's been in that box for months now. It is a Jet 8-inch helical head, and I'm super excited about using it, but I don't have enough power here. Currently pulling 60 amps off of the house, and that power is kind of spread out around everywhere. My goal is to eventually have all my shop tools on 220 single phase. So right now I've got a dust collector, I've got my table saw as well as my planer, and then now my joiner, and I just don't have enough power to be able to push all of those things at once. So you might say, well, you don't need to. Well, if my air compressor, which is 220, if that kicks on while the dust collector is running, while I'm using the planer, it's just going to trip it every single time. So still trying to figure out a little bit more about how to use power a little bit better, but that's also why I haven't hooked up my dust collector. You might see just sawdust everywhere. Well, it's because A, I don't have the power for it yet, B, I don't have all the pipe to be able to run everything yet, and we'll get there eventually. This is my miter station, and it is just some old cabinets that were left in here by the previous owner that I kind of raised up and lowered this down. It's not level, it's fine for what I need it to be right now, but eventually I'd like to put in 2 toolboxes and then have an area lowered so that it goes directly over it. Storage is like a big thing in here. I've got a lot of random little shop consumables, drill bits, that kind of stuff that need a place to live, and I don't have those places yet. So right now I've just got bags of things laying around the shop, and at least for today I'm going to try and put all those bags in one place so that it just makes things a little bit easier on me. So this is my toolbox. Those things are super expensive these days. So at Home Depot they charge like $800 or $900 for that. This one had a dent on it, and it was in Home Depot for a long time, and I went there like every single week for something else, and I would always look at it. And finally they put it on sale. I think I got this for like $400, and it has been a lifesaver. I store a ton of stuff in this. Obviously it is just crammed full of crap up there. So probably not today, but eventually I'm going to go back through this, reorganize it, so that maybe I can store a little bit more stuff in it, but it's kind of met its quota at this point. It's all filled up. So right next to me is bin storage. There's a ton of nuts and bolts in here that the previous owner left, which is great, but I don't really do any metal working, so I don't use those often. But it is funny, whenever I do need a bolt, I just come over here and they're just magically there. Behind me is a Jlt Clamp Rack. It's the 12-foot version. At the old shop that I used to work at, I got this from it, and we had clamps specially made for it so that we can clamp up to 60 inches wide, which is awesome. But I also have a ton of the regular normal clamps. I think they're 42 inch, and I need to just store all those underneath there. Everything's super rusty, and eventually I'm going to be cleaning that off, but not today. Right here is my workbench. Eventually I'm going to be putting on the clamp from Andy Klein. He has a pretty cool design, and eventually it'll get here. So really excited about that, but this thing is solid, it's super heavy, and for the purposes that I need it for, it's great. Behind me is my jet dust collector as well as my drill press, and those things are great when they have power and when they're working. So the drill press is on 110, so that wasn't an issue at all, but dust collector I've got to wait a little bit longer on that one. This is the view from the back end of the shop. So behind you directly is the panel clamps. So you can see how I've laid out everything. Wood automatically goes back to the back corner. Once I've sorted out what I need as far as materials, they come over here to get dimensioned. After they're dimensioned, they can go back there, they get glued up, brought over here. Things are, further dimensioned as well as sand down, and then they go directly into the finishing place. I do a whole lot of tables, so a lot of tabletops. Being alone in the shop and having huge tabletops is kind of an issue. I'm looking for a little bit better way to move things around. I don't have quite enough room for like a pallet stacker or like one of those little mini forklifts, so I'm trying to figure out a way. I've considered putting up like winches up there in the rafters to lift things up, but I don't know how comfortable I am with that. I'm sure that the barn will hold it just fine, but at the same time, like big heavy things swinging around, I don't know. So yeah, this is the shop. Obviously you can see it is quite messy, and a messy shop is an unsafe shop. So I will be trying to get that a little bit better today, mainly just bagging stuff up and taking it to the dump. So that was the shop tour. If you want to, there's probably just going to be time lapses, but I'm going to try my best to shake this place up a little bit. I also forgot something. I have a bathroom, and that's pretty cool. That was 21 minutes condensed down to 10 seconds, and it feels real good. I keep on imagining being able to put a CNC right here, and I think that's pretty possible. So, on to the next part. Probably going to take way longer. Whew, 39 minutes down into 19 seconds. So, a lot of this just kind of went back to where I just cleaned, but at least that's nice and organized now so that I can go through it later. At this rate, I think I'll be done in like 4 hours. So things are looking pretty good. On to the next one. Okay, well that was only like 20 minutes, but I'm slowing down, which means I'm hungry and need to eat lunch. So I'll be back in a bit. So I've eaten tacos and I feel much better. Reinforcements have arrived. My dad is here to help me clean out the rest of this crap. So hopefully all this will look a lot different in a few hours. We'll see. I get it. It probably doesn't look that much cleaner. I have all of this stuff piled up, but I have so much more floor space open. All the sawdust has been either shoveled out or blown out, and it is so much better. So I can't, weirdly enough, think of a better way to spend my 30th birthday, and shop's looking pretty good. So later I'll go through, I'll start organizing all this stuff, but until I have some more storage options in here, it's going to kind of be all around. So yeah. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And I guess I'll see you next time when I don't know what I'll be doing.